All right, well, today we have Ryan Langoni with us. He has been a marketing, he is a marketing representative in Seattle for Federated Insurance for 7 years. And we just thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about investing in key employees with you guys. We've got a lot of great topics here at Federated as far as risk management goes, insurance coverages, and benefits for employees. And again, appreciate the opportunity. What I'll do is I'll share the screen here and just confirm with me that you guys can see what's going on, if you wouldn't mind. Does everybody see the PowerPoint? Right, it's more of like a PDF style. Makes it a little easier, I think, to scroll through it and go back and forth though. And what I'd like to do is I'll run through it. Anybody, please butt in with any questions. If there's something you got to ask right away. I want this to be kind of an open conversation. I don't want to just sit here and kind of just preach to you guys. So you can wait till the end as well. I'll open it up for questions as well then. But if there's anything you'd like to know right off the bat, something specific, by all means, feel free to just kind of butt in there and I'd be happy to address it. So again, today's topic, we're talking about investing in key employees, not only in your industry, but many of the other industries that we work in. Federated has found that maintaining key employees, keeping them happy, and also trying to hire key employees has been very, very difficult and one of the biggest struggles that my clients have seen and really been trying to battle these recent years. I'm sure you've seen articles all over the news as well called the Great Resignation, and Federated is just kind of taking a stance on this to say, how can we help our clients succeed in the Great Resignation? And we've got some cool tools to use. And again, we'll just kind of talk about one, the reason why it's important to have it, and then how we're able to fix the problem. So let's see here. Okay, so obviously in most cases here, your business is your biggest asset. Okay, I would say that's the case for most business owners, if not one of their biggest assets. The amount of money, time, passion you have invested in this is probably far more than anything else that you've got in life other than maybe your family. And essentially what makes your business most valuable and really making it your biggest asset is your key employees, right? Although you're calling the shots and maybe running the ship, the people that you heavily rely on when you're gone or to just help grow the business are essentially your key people. And again, losing them can be detrimental to the business. Key employees generate profits, right? We all know that. And then it says, which of your employees have skills that increase your profits? These are typically the employees that have great decision-making skills, leadership ability, important and unique responsibilities, as well as goodwill with customers, technical expertise, and exceptional work ethic. So in your specific industry, we're probably thinking of somewhere like a lead tech, someone who's been with you for a long time. And again, someone who kind of can fill your shoes if you were to take a vacation, right? Again, I think you really realize who the key employees are when you're gone, right? And maybe which employees aren't key when you're gone as well. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're trying to think who would fit this type of program or which employees would I be able to utilize this program with, right? It's not for everybody, okay? And we're not saying you need to do this with every single employee, but necessarily the ones that fit this model here. Key employee turnover is very costly. Employee turnover is costly. Key employee turnover is even more costly, right? Because they're just that much harder to replace. You have a decrease in sales and profits. You have a loss of customers. You'd be surprised maybe how many customers may come to you because of your employee, right? Federated actually has one of these programs in place, very similar on myself, right? And although my clients do like Federated, I'm sure, but at the same time, I think it's the relationship that I have with the clients as to why they're with Federated, and they realize that. So they actually put a very similar program in place for our marketing reps as well. Very costly mistakes due to inexperience. So if you try to hire somebody to fill one of your key employee spots that actually left you, not only is it expensive to train them, but the mistakes that are made can be very costly to you as well. Again, just to recruit, hire, and train is expensive. So we're trying to avoid all of that if we can, right? What are you doing today to avoid losing key employees? Many of my clients will say, hey, I increase pay for them, right? Or I'll hand them some sort of bonus every year, you know, depending on profits, maybe some sort of profit sharing technique. Those are all great methods, right? Everybody likes an increase in pay. You know, other benefits are helpful as well. You got health insurance, you've got 401ks, you've got all these sort of things, which are great. Okay, they're great. What we're finding though is just increasing the pay for an employee is not necessarily enough to keep them around. So, okay, because if there's an employee who's staying with you just because of an increase in pay and they're thinking, oh, I get a 1% raise every year or 2% raise, I guess they could easily be taken from you if someone else just increases the pay, right? If that's what they're really looking for. Where this program, again, we'll talk about a little bit more in depth, will dangle a carrot in front of them a little bit and kind of get them working towards something much bigger than a few dollar raise an hour. So, and then again, if they leave, they actually forfeit that benefit. Okay, so that's, again, we really want to tie them. It's called almost like a golden handcuff program. We're saying, hey, look, this is what you get if you stay with me, and essentially what you're leaving behind if you leave. Customized benefits for your key performers. Unlike many other benefit programs, you can actually discriminate on this type of program for key employees. So again, you can't just offer health insurance to certain employees. You can't offer just 401ks to certain employees. This one you can, and that's why we specifically like this, right? Because again, it doesn't fit every employee. It just doesn't. So again, it recognizes key employee contributions to the one who's actually fit this model and really deserve this type of program. And allows you to increase reward the longer the key employee continues to produce for your company. So again, you don't have to set this major retirement bonus or something with them at the beginning, but it is a flexible program to say, hey, look, let's start you off here because we realize you're very important to us. Okay, we want to show that we care about you and your family, and let's say that they continue to grow within the company, or you eventually are able to step away from the company even more and rely on them even heavier, you can increase that reward as time goes on, which is also important, right? It protects your business and employees' family at their death, okay? And that is why we call it the triple protection plan, okay? And what this does, and the reason we call it the triple protection plan, is because it provides, one, employee retention through the form of a private bonus, but it's a deferred comp bonus. Okay, it's not every single year, every 6 months you just increase their pay a little bit. It's going to be something maybe a little bit more long term that, again, they will forfeit the benefit if they leave. Okay, it also provides key person coverage for the business in case they were to pass, right? The business would then be compensated a large sum of money through the life insurance aspect of the program, as well as family protection. So you're able to choose as well how much of that death benefit is going to the business and how much is actually going to the family, okay? So again, there's a few different ways we can do that. Sometimes my clients will split it 50-50. Let's say you got a $500,000 death benefit tied to the program. You know, the business may get $250,000, essentially help with any lost profits or hiring and training costs associated with replacing that employee. And then the family would maybe get the other $250,000, for example. Okay, so you're not leaving them high and dry, especially if they were the breadwinner of the family, right? You don't want to see your employee's family be in a bad spot when something like that happens. And again, a lot of people love life insurance. They love having it. Not as many people love paying for it, right? So having that as an added bonus when they work for your company is huge, right? So when they get an offer from another company who's willing to pay X amount more money, right, to them, and the wife or the significant other says, oh, well, are they offering you life insurance as well? Because that's important to me, right? That's just another I guess, piece of the pie that, that other company that's trying to steal them may not be providing to them. So again, that's a really key piece. And you'd be surprised when somebody has that coverage enforced, they don't want to lose it. Okay, because they're so accustomed to going to bed at night knowing if I don't wake up tomorrow or if I don't make it home tomorrow, my wife or my husband and my kids will be taken care of. If I leave this company, that may not be the case anymore. So again, I've talked with many employees about this, and again, a lot of my clients as well, that is a key part of this. It's not just the bonus that's paid out at the end. It's these little added insurance benefits in there as well. So what is a private bonus plan? It's a written agreement where the employer promises to pay a specified meaningful bonus. Again, you get to decide what this bonus is going to be. A lot of questions I get are, Ryland, how much does something like this cost? Or how much money do I have to allocate towards this? My answer is, I can try to direct you in the right way about something that may be meaningful, but you get to decide what meaningful really is and how big or how small of a bonus you want to provide. So again, you're kind of in control about how much you want to allocate towards something like this. You get to decide when the bonuses are paid out. Some clients say, hey, we want to wait until retirement. We want to keep this specific individual because they're 40 years old currently. We want to keep this bonus until retirement because that bonus is going to be so big and so meaningful that we want them to stay till then. Or you can have it pay out, after 3 or 5 years as well. It's going to be a smaller bonus, right? But you're in control again. And then again, you can actually select which employees or employee you would like to do this on. Again, not for everybody. How does it work? The business owns and pays for a cash value life insurance policy on the key employee. Cash value is used to informally fund the plan. So the business may withdraw cash values needed to pay the bonuses. So it'll accumulate your cash, and you have access to that cash to pay the bonuses, right? Again, some people leave it in there and let it accumulate until it becomes a very, very large bonus and maybe use it as like retirement settlement. And then the policy death benefit provides key person protection to the business or can be shared with the employee's family. Again, you're in control about if the employee doesn't have a family, right? You can keep the whole death benefit, right? If the employee has a big family and needs all $500,000 death benefit or $1 million or $250, whatever you choose, you can give it all to them and keep nothing. Again, one of the bonuses here is that you get to decide, right? And it's flexible. We can alter those, the payouts and everything. So, and business pays tax deductible bonus to employee. Okay, taxes usually come into this as a question as well. The premiums are paid essentially after tax. Okay, the premiums are not tax deductible, but when you pay the bonus out of the policy, it is tax deductible. Essentially, as a bonus, they're paying to the employee. Bonus structure to fit any situation. Again, totally customizable. As we mentioned before, 3-year bonus structure. You do $3,000 every 3 years, $6,000 after 6 years, $9,000 after 9 years, and every 3 years after that. Or we can go 5-year bonus structure. $5,000 after 5 years, $7,500 after 10 years, $10,000 after 15 years, and every 5 years thereafter. Again, or you could keep it till retirement. If you want to make it, wait 15 years and have this very large sum of money that would provide, a down payment on their lake home that they dream of, or whatever they dream of, you can keep it and not pay out any bonuses the entire time and make it a very significant large bonus upon their retirement or upon your retirement. Another great thing that I love about this plan is it can be used in so many different ways. We've had clients that have used this bonus. Let's say they wait till retirement or their retirement. So actually my client's retirement, and it's accumulated $80,000 inside of it, $100,000 sitting there, they can, one, pay them a bonus of $100,000 and say, thank you for sticking with me all these years. Appreciate your service. Here you go. Or you can also say, hey, look, Mr. or Mrs. Employee, I know you have interest in running this business and taking it over now that I'm near retirement. What we've done is we've accumulated $100,000 in a bonus for you. We could use that money as essentially a down payment to buy me out. Okay. So again, that's a key part of this, where maybe that employee would not have saved up that money on their own. And again, if you just continue to increase people's pay on a regular basis, very, very small, eventually just start spending more money, right? That's just kind of naturally how most people operate. So again, it could be major retirement bonus to themselves, or you could be funding your own buyout and a succession plan for you and your business as well. So just keep that in mind. How does a private bonus plan retain employees? Well, employee forfeits future bonuses if he or she, one, quits, is terminated, and can no longer perform the job. Okay, great. So again, if you raise you just keep tacking up someone's pay or give them a bonus every year. If they leave, they obviously keep the money that you paid them, right? Here, you're kind of protecting that a little bit more and saying, hey, this is yours if you stay. You leave, business keeps the money. Bonus can be tied to specific performance expectations too, right? And then a reward is given after performance and retention. So again, it's one of the reasons why we love it. And let's see, key person protection for your business. So this is the other side. Now that we talked about the bonus side of things, there's actually, again, the life insurance and the protection side of it. So what is key person protection? Business owns and pays the premium for a life insurance policy on the key employee. Federated sends the death benefit to the business at the time of death, right? If the employee were to pass. Family protection, very same thing, right? But instead it will be going to the employee. So what happens if an employee dies? Key employee's loved ones may ask you for help, okay? Other employees may want to help, but don't know what to do. May want to help, but may be concerned about establishing a precedent. We feel an obligation to help, right? So from my experience, anytime I've had, it's only been a couple times, but when an employee is passed in the business, my client has felt the need to help, right? Or the desire to help. And it may not be in a position to do that. Where having something like this in place would completely relieve that side of the stress, right, from you. So being able to hand a family, a sizable chunk of money, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever it may be, it will certainly relieve that part of the stress from something like this happening. And it really is a cool deal. It's kind of hard to explain until you've seen it happen. How does it work? Business owns and pays the premium for cash value life insurance policy on the key employee. Business receives cash values and any death benefit not endorsed the employee. Again, so you get to choose, right? Beforehand, how much will go to the family, how much will go back to the business. Business endorses the right to the employee to name the beneficiary for all or a portion of the death benefit. Business includes the reportable economic benefit of the endorsed death benefit in the employee's taxable income each year. Employee's beneficiary receives the endorsed portion of the death benefit income tax-free. Again, that's huge. Paying a tax-free benefit of $500,000 to somebody is definitely going to be substantial, okay? General tax consequences. So again, premiums are not deductible by the business. Policy cash values grow tax deferred, and the bonus is taxable to the employee and deductible to the employer, your business, as a salary compensation paid. Again, I noted that a few slides back. Death benefit is generally received income tax-free though. Again, pay the premiums with after-tax dollars, and death benefit is paid out tax-free. This is Federated Triple Protection Plan. Again, retains employees, protects against employee death, and you get to share life insurance with a key employee's family. Thank you very much. I know none of you guys actually chimed in there for questions. I hope you guys have some now, and I'm happy to answer them.
Hey, Ryan, I just have a question on, you were talking about life insurance and those bonus structures. Are those whole life insurance policies that you're talking about?
Great question. Very similar to a whole life. It's actually a universal life contract that we use.
Yeah. Okay.
So I prefer universal life for many reasons. Whole life is great, but typically the premiums are a little higher on whole life, where we're able to get a little bit more competitive with universal life, and having a marketing rep in place. Like myself, I can actually manage the policies and go over them with you. You know, every year, every couple of years, and just kind of let you know where the cash value is growing, where interest rates are. They're not tied to the stock market though, which is great with whole life as well. Okay.
Right.
But we invest in debt, bonds, so very, very, very low risk, literally no risk, but provides a sizable return as well.
That's interesting. I've never heard of being able to do something like that with your employees.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
That's cool.
Kind of neat. Yep.
That's a fantastic benefit.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is. I love how flexible it is, and you're in control, right? And you get to discriminate on who receives it too. So we've seen huge success with it, especially in this environment where it's very, very hard to maintain and retain key employees. But it seems to be working out great.
Yeah, Ryland, what a great retention tool too. Like, I mean, in this day and age where it's, as you mentioned, right, it's super hard to find folks, and certainly once you find the right person, you don't want them taken off. So what a great way to retain them. And then another question is there any group benefit to this, as in, like, you know, I know with group term insurance, the group kind of averages out, you know, you got the people with horrible health and they're smokers and whatnot, and then you have the people that are great health, right? But is this just individually qualified, these policies?
Correct. Yeah, great question. They are individually qualified. Again, if you wanted to do something similar for every employee, you certainly can try, especially if it's even a smaller, or if maybe you didn't. Some of my clients will actually cheer them. They're like, hey, here's the key employees. They'll actually get a sizable bonus, right? It's structured in this way. But maybe these employees, until they've proved themselves to stick around with me or have built up their reliability and expertise within my business, maybe start off with even just, you know, like a term policy on them, right? So it's very, very cheap, but if something were to happen to them, the business would be compensated or their family would be compensated. And then eventually, I think once they've evolved into maybe, let's say, a key employee, you could actually switch this over to one of these styles of plans too. So as
term
long as,
to perm.
Yep, term to perm. Yep, correct. And as long as they can qualify for coverage, it typically will work, right? Great question. And then another question that I get sometimes is, hey, you know, what do we do if they leave, right? We put this in place and they still leave, right? Well, you got a couple options, right? You can either take whatever cash values inside of there and just cash it out. You can continue to pay on it, even though might not be this huge insurable interest in that employee anymore. You could continue to fund it and use the bonus actually for somebody else if you wanted to. Maybe the policy is performing really, really well. It was a guy or a gal in their mid-30s at a great rate. You've been contributing to it for 7 years now. You got cash value established in it. It's really starting to take off. You could just continue to fund it. And then the third thing, which is really, really cool, is we'll actually allow you to transfer that program over to another employee who's insurable. So essentially take your cash value, re-underwrite another employee, right, who is still obviously currently with the company, and you'll able to just kind of transfer that cash value right over to there and continue the plan on with a new employee.
So what is the surrender period if you were to, or do they vary depending on what policy you write?
Yeah, it varies depending on which policy, right, and the rating that they choose and the amount of death benefit, right? Is there like a specific time frame you're looking for, or like
Yeah, is it like the typical 15-year kind of surrender where if you cash out early, you get nailed a bit, and so that would.
Okay, great question. So typically, if you were to just cash out completely, it's 11-year mark is usually where I tell people. I would not cash out everything until the 11-year mark. That's when the surrender charge is essentially completely removed. Now, again, you can schedule this so that year 3 it pays out a little bonus, or year 5 it pays out a little bonus, but don't surrender the whole policy, right? Continue to fund it. But if you wanted to just rip everything out of it and just surrender the policy, I tell people, the year 11 is usually the time frame where you would be in the best shape to do that. Great question, Carl. Any other questions for how it works or recommended contributions? Anything along those lines?
I got one more, and that is is the concept, because I loved how you also said not only is it a great retention tool, but what a great way to fund the buyout of, so like a succession plan. And so in order to get a sweet, bucket of dough in there without having somebody die, is the concept that you are just overfunding the heck out of it. So that way you so it's accumulating a bunch of cash.
Yep, correct. Yep. So typically, I'll talk with the client and say, is it more important that you have a sizable death benefit that's permanent coverage that will still provide a decent bonus, or do you want to overfund it? Maybe the death benefit isn't quite as important to you. So yes, we would just overfund the policy and essentially take advantage of the interest rate that we're paying on all the cash above the recommended amount that you're paying in there. So again, overfund it. I'm going to provide a more sizable bonus. And that's a great question. Again, another tool people will use is if they know that they're hiring a key employee. Let's say they're trying to take it from a competitor, or let's say this certain individual just left a business, and you're like, hey, how do I win them over here and versus another shop, right? Some clients will actually use this to help bring employees on and say, look, this is what we're doing for one of my other guys or gals. We could do something like this for you as well. And then sometimes you win over employee to come over and work for you with the same program. So we got a couple clients that will actually do that too. Any other questions or recommendations? We're always looking for topics to discuss with clients as far as risk management goes, key employee retention, insurance coverage, advice on anything. Does anyone have anything I'd like to, forward over to Federated or Jordan? I'm filling in for Jordan today. If there's anything that you got on the top of your mind about this specific topic or anything else you'd like us to talk about in the future, by all means, let us know. And I'm happy to, bring that message over to Jordan and Federated.
Ryland, do you have a current list of topics that you guys are willing to talk about that you could share with us so we could get it out to our chapter presidents?
We certainly do. Yep. I don't know all of them off the top of my head because that's not my specialty, I guess. But I know of a few. I know we've talked about, drive safe, distracted driving, the reason for having driving policies in place with your employees and actually having them signed. We talk about, fire, right? Preventing fire within the business. We've got so many topics. It's almost kind of endless. So we certainly can send that over to you as far as presentations that we've already got outlined and everything on those topics. Or again, if there's anything specific you'd like us to dive deeper into, then we'd be happy to look into it and put something together as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else? Not, then, we can end this portion of the lunch and learn.
Gordon put a something in the chat box.
Okay, I'm not, oh, here's something up here. I do an increasing retention bonus. Longer my employees work for me, the more they get. If they leave and come back, it resets and starts over. Let's see here. I think maybe Gordon meant if I do an increasing retention bonus, the longer my employees work for me, the more they get. Yes. If they leave and come back, it resets it. Yeah, so let's say they leave, right? Again, you're in the place where you got a few options, right? You can continue to fund that program, even though they're not an employee anymore. Maybe because you just like how the cash is performing, and you maybe want to just use the bonus for somebody else, right? Especially if you have an employee who doesn't fit that model. Maybe they're a little older. Maybe they use tobacco. Their health isn't the greatest. And maybe this sort of plan maybe isn't the best structure, but guess what? You had it on Susie, right, before, who was in her mid-30s, and it was performing awesome on her, and she left. You could continue funding it and maybe just use that bonus, though, for George, right, who maybe is not in the better health shape. Does that make sense? Oregon, you could cash it out, or actually change the actual program over to another employee as well. So you got options. It's not like you're left high and dry if they end up leaving. You're definitely able to recuperate your costs, transfer it over to somebody else, but you're not left high and dry if they leave. So, which is important to know, right? Great question.
Okay, so if there's not any more questions, Rylan, we would like to thank you very much for your presentation. Great
thank you.
presentation. And Carissa, thank you for putting together this lunch and learn for us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.